how to learn anything fast, or almost anything. Learning things faster and learning things with more efficiency comes down to treating learning altogether as a full body process. This means your physical body, your mental state, what you see in your mind, as well as the course of action that you take. Now, you already know my approach on improvement. We don't do things by brute force here. So everything I say today, just start to keep it in the back of your mind from now on. Most importantly, be realistic and don't stress yourself out if you don't do all of these at once. It's something that you'll probably come back to for the rest of your life. So I want to start with one of the most important aspects of learning overall, and that's actually the physical state of the body. What I mean by this is optimizing our nervous system and making sure that we can deliver all the nutrients that we have available to us everywhere in the body. And one of the best ways to do this is just to increase your blood flow. I don't think I've ever heard this talked about. Maybe I have. But I know this has helped me significantly for the past 5 years at the least. And this is something I really want people to take more serious, because it may not seem like that big of a deal on the surface, but internally, no pun intended, internally it really does make a very big difference in the way that you perform, the way that you operate, how long you can sit down and study, your focus ability, all those kinds of things. Because the more you're able to deliver nutrients to the brain, the heart, your limbs, if you're playing an instrument or something, the better you can operate. So what do? Basically, before you engage in any task, even studying, reading, whatever, you want to get your heart rate up just a little bit. I'm not saying go run sprints down the street. You don't have to do all that. Just try to get your heart rate up a bit. Stretch, maybe do a few yoga poses or Pilates poses if you're into that. I usually just jump in place just to start, or I move my limbs in certain ways just to kind of get the blood moving. But you want to do this before you start studying or practicing, and you want to do this intermittently while you're studying or practicing. Like, for example, this song that you're hearing right now is actually me playing. And while I'm playing, I'll just randomly get up and do something like a handstand, for instance. Now, of course, you don't have to go doing a bunch of things that you're not able to do or something that's going to strain you. But to me, there's no better way to get blood to my brain than to just literally be upside down. But anything works, really. Like I said, sometimes I just jump in place, just move my arms around a bit. Whatever it takes for you to get blood moving throughout your body. If you're in public, maybe just get up and move around a bit, stretch. Or if you're like me and you really don't care what's going on around you, you can do exactly what you would do at home, just in public. Don't bother anyone though. Don't be in the way or doing handstands next to someone's table. I'm not saying do all that. As a quick backstory, when I lived in Japan, when I used to study at cafes, something I would always do is about every 30 minutes, I would get up, I would go outside, and I would either do a handstand, or I would do a bunch of jumping jacks or push-ups, or I would jog down the street and come back. And it really worked. You know, I got a lot of things done. I was able to learn the language a lot better because of that. And I really think this whole blood flow thing I'm talking about is extremely underrated. So that's my goal here today. I want you guys to do it too. So please take this advice, run with it, literally, jump with it, whatever you have to do, just use it, because blood flow really does help you learn things a lot faster. I don't care if you have to go buy some things to keep at the house to pick up, go run down the street and chase a stray cat. It doesn't matter. Whatever is going to help your productivity, keep that in mind. The more you think about that, your productivity and your ability to learn things fast, the more you will not care about anything else. You'll just do what you have to do, especially if you're in public. We'll come back to the physical state in a minute, but here's an important question that you should ask yourself. Is this something I will use my entire life? Or you could say, will this benefit my life if it's only a season? Like a university, for example. What this is going to do is going to make you change your identity as a person. And I'm not talking about turning Super Saiyan or anything else. I'm talking about just the person you think you are. So say you're studying a foreign language. Rather than saying, hey, I just study here and there, or I know a few vocab words, that kind of thing, it's better to start seeing yourself as someone who just speaks the language. You don't have to go around telling people. But I want you to start seeing yourself as a person who speaks Japanese or speaks Spanish or German or whatever you're learning. Because you're going to start to go through the motions of someone who speaks that language. As far as identity goes, the same can be applied to maybe if you're learning a musical instrument. Rather than saying you're a person who just kind of plays here and there, you're actually going to start to identify as a musician or a piano player or a guitar player or whatever you like to do. Maybe you're a painter, an engineer, a writer, a content creator. I don't know. Just start to see yourself as that person. And this is going to help you shift your identity from a casual who's not going to really be good at anything or learn anything fast into someone who will learn that not only fast, but efficiently. So why is this important? Well, reason number one is it's going to make you value your time a lot more. And the good part about this is that you're going to naturally stop doing things that waste your time. This includes things like social media, video games, alcohol, bad foods, just whatever gets in the way of you managing your time well. Now, I'm not saying these are bad things. Well, alcohol is kind of bad. You should probably stop that. But if you value something a lot, it's going to be a lot easier to cut out those things that are not really matching with your identity. I hope that makes sense. And this is just general life advice right here. If you want to stop a bad habit like drinking or eating bad foods, rather than trying to stop, all you have to do is find something that's equally or more enticing to replace it with. And it doesn't have to be in the same category. Like if you're trying not to drink, you don't have to find a better drink or something equally as good as alcohol. Try to find something that occupies your mind a little bit more. And then you may see the adverse effects of alcohol as a detriment to what you're trying to do. I know this personally. Though I was never a big drinker, I used to drink umeshu and chuhais in Japan. If you've ever lived there, you know what I mean. And one thing I noticed is that whenever I did drink those, if I had like boxing or kickboxing practice the next day, I was just not operating well. And same with productivity in general, language learning, practicing my music, I just couldn't really function well. So as my love for those things grew a lot more, I naturally just stopped drinking, even to the point where I forget that alcohol exists. Personally, I haven't drank in the last 4 years, I think. And it's not because I stopped. I allow myself to drink whenever I want. I just haven't because I'm so into these other things. I bring all this up to say, let that naturally happen. Don't try to force these things to go away. Just let it naturally happen. And again, the more you shift your identity, the more you're going to value your time and the more you're going to cut out these things that don't really serve your time well. But as a strong caution, do not rush into this, because whatever you're replacing your time with is probably something you're going to do for the rest of your life. So choose wisely. Okay, reason number 2 is going to get you out of the feeling of dreading practice or study. So the quicker you can get yourself into that identity of the painter or the writer or the person who speaks that language or plays that instrument or knows certain course material or whatever, the quicker you can understand that practice and study is just a part of the daily routine. And that's just the way it is. And again, this is just going to make you value your time more. Now, with both of these reasons, don't force it. I'm going to say that again. I don't know how many times I've said it, but don't force it. Whatever you find yourself wanting to do more, just ease into that, identify with that, and naturally those other things will go away that get in your way. Now, of course, if you're like addicted to social media, you drink every day or things like that, you may want to address that like today, right after this video, really. But if it's not that bad, ease into your real identity and let those other things dwindle away on their own. Another important aspect of learning things fast and efficiently is that there is no such thing as fast and easy in most cases. So right away, I want to say that you can learn things fast. And honestly, I think the faster the better because you can enjoy it sooner. But just don't think that it's going to be easy. In fact, it's usually the opposite. You will commonly see this in videos around language learning, learning an instrument, maybe passing school, increasing your value as a person overall, or building your dream body, or making money online, and so on. I can go on, but you guys know. It's always this fast, effortless, easy, no thinking involved. Just push this button, activate your dreams. I'm gonna tell you now, make it a point to stop consuming these types of videos. You know, it's sad that humanity has kind of gotten to the point where we feel the need to use all these clickbaity selling dream titles just to get people to listen to us. But I want to save you years of your life by telling you none of that works. None of it. The 10-minute abs, the 20-minute millionaire, all this stuff, it does not work, okay? If it's a fast route, you can assume that it's going to be difficult. But again, that's a good thing. I do have really good news though. If you even made it to this part of the video, I do think you're one of those people that can take that difficult route and learn things a lot faster. And I'm not saying that to gas you up or anything. I really believe that if you have the ability to just sit down and watch me talk about this kind of thing, then you do have it in you. You may have to get some things out of the way, like I certainly had to, but you do have it in you. And the cool thing about difficulties is that the more difficult things that you do, over the years of you doing them, it's actually going to feel a lot easier, or just easy in general. I have a video about this, by the way. I'll put it in the description. Okay, back to the physical aspect of things. The next thing I want to get into is relaxation and focus. Now, I know I just talked about handstands and stretching in the cafe and running up and down the street, chasing a stray cat, or whatever else I said. But one of the most important things you can do for your body when it comes to learning things, especially things that require muscle memory, is to relax your body. You can do this right away by paying attention to your breathing and your posture. So if you're slumped over like a caveman, trying to start a fire on the ground and forage for food, you're really not going to get as much oxygen as you need to in your lungs and diaphragm. This isn't good because oxygen, it needs to go to the brain as well to help you operate better, to help you think better. As well as your muscles are going to start to hurt on your back, your neck, your shoulders may hurt. And you know those people who have the computer posture. You might have it yourself, actually. I know I used to. Now, don't overstress this. Don't think that whenever you're slumped over, you're only operating at 2% of your power. That's not what I mean. I just mean that it's something that you want to start being aware of. And here and there, give yourself a cue to straighten up, take a deep breath, relax, and then get back to what you're doing. You know, I've been playing music for a while now, piano and guitar, and occasionally, well, often really, I still find myself slumped over like a shrimp, trying to play a certain note or trying to play a certain scale or chord progression, and then I have to reshift my focus back to my posture, back to my breathing, and then relax everything and get back to work. The point is to catch yourself doing this as much as you can, and you'll naturally see that your posture will just straighten out and your breathing will straighten out as well, and you won't have to cue yourself as much. But if you're new to it, yeah, every 5 seconds or so, you're probably gonna slump over, but that's okay. I started there too. The next point is focus. Now, I'm not gonna get into focus too deep. I think that deserves its own video. But one of the main things you can do is just to remove all of the distractions as possible, especially if you have ADHD. This pretty much just means removing anything that's not involved with your goal. And usually it's your phone. Let's just be honest. Now, if you're using your phone to study, it's fine, but try to remove the apps that you may accidentally slip into. I know me personally, one of my weaknesses is that if I'm studying on my phone and Instagram is on my phone, or I have something else on my phone, I naturally can just click it and not even think about it. I can be scrolling on Instagram and not realize it until I'm already looking through several reels. So what I have to do is delete it off my phone, and then I just re-download it later. Maybe you don't have to do that, but if you have a problem managing that, I would say just try it. But again, if you're stronger than me, then all power to you. I can't do that. I just know my limits. So I'm offering that idea to you as well. And the last one we'll go over today is priming and visualization. So priming and visualization are really just seeing yourself as that thing that you're trying to become. And I'm not talking about like some new age spirituality type thing. I'm not talking about that. What I'm really referring to is your brain's mirror neurons. Now, I'm not going to get into that. You can look that up on your own. I'm not a doctor or scientist. It's something that I think you should read about, though. Mirror neurons, mimicking in general. And basically, it's going to help prime your body to learn that skill a lot faster. This is really, really useful in muscle memory. Piano, guitar, combat sports, any sport that you want to do, dancing, whatever it is that involves muscle memory. This is extremely important because it'll just speed up that process. The gist of mirror neurons is as you watch other people do something or you visualize yourself doing it, especially if you've practiced it just a little bit or beforehand, it actually strengthens your ability to do it. Again, just Google this on your own, do some research on just visualization, mirror neurons in general, but it's something that you really want to implement when it comes to learning things faster and more efficiently. The three areas I've really benefited from this in is combat sports, piano, and guitar. All three of these things are basically just muscle memory and repetition. That's really what it is at the core. And something I notice is that as I see myself do these things better and better, more efficiently, especially combos in sparring or things like that, it really just happens second nature. I don't know how to explain it. Again, you want to really Google this on your own. But mirror neurons, priming, visualization, that kind of thing, it's kind of a cheat code to just maximizing your ability to learn things. That being said, let's do a quick recap. So we talked about the physical state of the body, which mainly today we talked about blood flow and how you want to do this before you engage in that activity, as well as during. We also talked about relaxation and focus. Breathing and posture is what you really want to focus on for now. We also went over some important concepts in general, like asking yourself, is this something I will use for my entire life? Or will this benefit me for my entire life? The main focus here is to shift our identity. Again, you're not trying to transform as a person and fly off into outer space or anything. We're just talking about seeing yourself as someone who's well versed in that area that you're thinking about. That's going to help you value your time more. And I really want to emphasize naturally getting rid of those things that get in the way rather than forcing it. And it's going to get you out of the feeling of dreading practice or study. We also went over the fact that there's usually no such thing as fast and easy. If it's fast, it's going to be difficult. But if you really made it this far, you definitely got it. So I believe in you. Stop falling for content or courses or anything that says you can do something fast and easy. Because again, in most cases, that doesn't exist. Anyhow, if you found this video helpful, please help me out by leaving a like and subscribing if you have not already. And if you don't subscribe, I'm going to send Bowser to come see you. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.